everyone, Lou here. You know, I sure do love reading manga, but I also love highlighting more obscure stuff. Today, let's do the best of both worlds by talking about manga you've never heard of. Now, I'm fully going off of how little I see people talk about the manga or its existence. I'm not going to cover manga adaptations of popular anime or games, as much as I'd love to talk about the Twilight Princess manga, Twisted Wonderlands manga, or the Carol and Tuesday one. You know, they're all fairly well-known adaptations, and they're all fairly well-known properties anyway. I'll also be tackling some manga that's largely not for minors because I'm 27, and I mean, I'm a sadistic son of a bitch who likes me some angsty and deep stories, you know? Alright, let's get started. Record of Ragnarok. While the anime is very slowly becoming popular, I feel like it's often a really overlooked one in favor of other tournament-styled manga and anime going on right now. It's a shame because I really like this manga and I think it's a lot of fun to read through. It also doesn't help that the first fight is pretty weak in terms of writing and tension, but man, each round gets crazier and crazier with really fun portrayals of mythologies from all over the world. Which is cool, you know, I don't see Shiva outside of Final Fantasy, so it's really cool. The story is about all the gods of the world deciding humanity needs to be extinct because we fucked up too much, where a Valkyrie named Brunhilde challenges them all to a tournament instead for humanity to prove their worth. If humanity wins, then they get to vibe for another 1,000 years or so before another debate hits. If the gods win, then humanity is then sent to Niflheim or the Oblivion. On the human side is the most famous humans across history, from Jack the Ripper, Leonidas, and yes, even Adam the First Man. So it's a really fun series with the art style being really cool. It's super exaggerated in its facial expressions with the most out there character designs you'll ever see for both the humans and the gods. If you want to know more, my friend Alex over at Paranormal Beluga does a podcast where he discusses the manga, its references, and interviews the English cast, so check him out and support one of my besties. If you guys want to see a fan roster for Record of Ragnarok, let me know down below because I do have sort of a list and I'm sort of working on it and I'd love to talk about it here on this channel. Homunculus. While his work, Ichi the Killer, is pretty well known for both anime and gore fans alike for its commentary on overwhelming violence with overwhelming violence, I feel the same can't really be said entirely about Homunculus, but it's genuinely really good and really smart. I did a video on the full story, but TLDR, a man named Nakoshi Susumu agrees to get a hole drilled in his head for money, where he develops psychic powers that lets him see people's true selves, and takes it upon himself to make them look normal in his vision. It's a really brilliant approach to showing selfish, abusive people, and how this type of person will do anything to make someone fit their vision of what a person should be, as well as societal expectations, mental health, and even features a canonically trans character, which is astonishing given this manga was written in 2003. Yeah, it has a Netflix movie, but oh my gosh, that is dog shit, and is a really bad attempt at covering such a complex series. Yes, it's super long as a manga, but oh my gosh, please give it a chance. I totally fell in love with this manga after a YouTube video introduced it to me, so I hope I can introduce it to you guys too. Adabana. One of my favorite genres is a crime mystery and thriller. Who doesn't love a whodunit with a second murder constantly on the horizon? Add on top of that very sympathetic characters, commentary on exploitation, and how women are constantly blamed for the abuse dealt to them as teenagers, to a point where many just have to take justice into their own hands. This is where Adabana comes in. Created by Non, a mangaka whose bread and butter is about women's empowerment and society's unfair treatment of women, especially in Japan, this has got to be one of my new favorite manga. The exciting part, it's officially getting translated this year and released September 2nd, which totally shocked me as this manga is extremely obscure and hardly anyone talks about it pretty much anywhere. But I promise it's genuinely really good. I also am starting to believe my curse as anime Nostradamus is coming to life because somehow every time I make a joke of, wouldn't it be funny if this is releasing, somehow it releases. Anyway, the story is about a girl named Mizuki Ayakawa who turns herself in for the murder of her best friend Mako Igarashi. Case closed, right? Except Mizuki's lawyer quickly pieces together that Mizuki isn't telling the truth about the death of her friend Mako. Did she really kill her? And what about Mako's abusive ex-boyfriend? I did a video on this too, which all the links to everything I'm talking about will be down below in the description, and I loved this one so much. I highly recommend it, if you can handle the themes at least. I know this one can be a bit triggering. Doubt. This was made in 2007, and it feels like if Danganronpa had a fucked up baby with Alice in Borderland. You've got that whodunit where it could have been anyone in the room, but it's amplified by 100 with crazy dangerous penalties and punishments. It's really great though. I say Alice in Borderland because it really did feel like a spin-off. It's not, and it's in no way connected, but maybe I'm thinking that because of the whole wolf and prey motif, because that game still haunts me to this day. The story is about a bunch of teenagers playing what is basically the early 2000s version of Among Us called Rabbit Doubt, where you play as rabbits and you have to find out which one is the wolf in disguise. It's a simple phone game and our main characters are all involved in it. However, they end up trapped in an abandoned building after entering a tournament for Rabbit Doubt on their cell phone. Our main character, Yu Aikawa, figures out everyone has committed a crime, sin, or just a general dickhead, so it's a race against time to try and keep everyone safe so there's not another victim, and to find out which one is the wolf among them. Ha! I narrowly dodged that damn Among Us joke. Is it the best thing ever? It's not, but it's a fun manga. It reminds me of those early 2000s B-grade horror movies like House of Wax or like I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's a fun romp, so I highly recommend checking it out. There's sequels too, but I think the sequels just kind of ruin it for me, so just ignore the sequels. Innocent. Is it truly a Weebaloo video about manga if I don't talk about Innocent somewhere? I love this manga. It's genuinely one of my favorites. Is it hard to follow? Weird writing with the female characters, and a very confusing time skip? Of course, but damn it, this manga is so good despite being hard to follow if you're not fully focused on it. The artwork is stunning, Marie is such a badass bitch, the metaphors are so unique, and the story is really fascinating to me. The manga is about real-life French executioner Charles-Henri Sanson, who stated in life he hated being an executioner. The author read about this in a book about the French Revolution and pretty much ran with it, so it's not really too historically accurate. Since Marie-Joseph Sanson and her child Zero didn't exist in real life, and several interpersonal dramas either didn't exist in real life or were heavily dramatized. However, despite that, this manga was amazing to read through. From the drama, discussions of gender, mistreatment of the underclass, and more, that this manga was just awesome. I mean, I think the French Revolution resonates with a modern audience now more than ever. And now to the grand finale of this video, Metamorphosis. I'm just kidding, guys. Oh my god, do you think I would ever do a video on that manga? DRCL Midnight Children. Yes, another Sakamoto Shinichi manga, but I can't find a soul talking about this, to a point where translations from fan groups barely exist, and the official manga releases are like super slow in the US. The manga is a retelling of Dracula by Bram Stoker with influence from the 1992 adaptation of the novel Peter Pan, Ballet, and Michael Jackson? I don't know, but Dracula kind of looks like Michael Jackson here to me. The main version of this AU is that everyone are teenagers in an all-boys boarding school, with Mina as the first and only female student because of her incredible grades. She's often bullied for being a smart woman and having red hair, where she learned a type of wrestling called Catch as Catch Can as a means to protect herself as a child. Lucy is also a boy now, who's normally an aloof and ethereally beautiful boy, but at night he embraces his alter ego of Lucy and becomes Mina's bestie. This is a little confusing because it sadly hasn't been touched on, but I think Lucy is gender fluid or struggling with gender, and that's what makes Dracula bite him. I don't know, but it seems like this version likes to feed on people who are either struggling physically or mentally. John Seward is also changed to Joe Sua, who's now a half-Japanese student with a nun he keeps in his dorm that no one notices or questions. Jonathan Harker is also physically disabled, and this makes him more helpless when he's kidnapped by Dracula, as he can't escape, unlike most adaptations, due to his lack of mobility. The diverse cast and dreamlike atmosphere makes for one of the most unique adaptations I've seen of Dracula. Sure, the dreamlike adaptation makes it hard to tell what's going on, but you do eventually piece things together, and the artwork is just fucking fantastic. I love the way that vampires are portrayed as these ethereal fairies or elf-like creatures, like in the oldest written concepts from both creatures. And treating them like a Pied Piper feels so slept on when not many people keep the lore about vampires glamoring people to be their prey. I also just love vampire stories. Vampires are my favorite monster story, so to have a manga that taps into the intimidating, ethereal, and alluring nature of a vampire is just awesome. This manga is almost hypnotizing to read because I swear, every time I read the volume I have, I just can't put it down. To be honest, I recommend everyone read all these manga in this video because they're all amazing, and I love recommending smaller or lesser known artists because the little guys need their support too, you know? What did you guys think? Are there any you recognized or any you want me to cover in the future? As always, let me know down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching! If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new. And if any old or new subs would like to help support my channel in any possible way, my Ko-fi page is down below in the description, along with links to all of my social media tabs. For any subscribers, new or old, who'd like to help with video ideas, or maybe just want to talk about anime or something with some like-minded people, I have a fan server link down below. See you next time!